What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another r/am I the asshole video. Reading a couple of spicy posts, sharing my thoughts on them, and trying to ascertain who the true assholes are in each of them. This is episode 7 in the Am I the Asshole series. And I'm ready for some drama. So without further delay, let's get into it. The first post of the day is by user Throwaway 577,791. And it is titled, Am I the Asshole for blowing up on my husband for peeing on my plants? Let's check it out.
I, 32 female, started getting into gardening 9 months ago. I'd planted some of my personal favorite plants in the backyard, and they'd been taking time and effort to grow. I love taking care of them, and it's become part of my routine. My husband doesn't like it, and has made some comments about me wasting time on those plants. Instead of working, I already have an office job, or taking care of the house. I do 90% of chores. I didn't pay much attention to him, because I too nag him about spending too much time playing video games. At least gardening has benefits. Yesterday I was at work, and when I came home to check on my plants, I started noticing a really strong smell of it. My plants looked like they had a dog pee on them, or something, but it was strange, because we don't have dog, nor does the neighbor have dogs. I went inside the house, and asked my husband to scout the smell of it. He nonchalantly said that the toilet was clogged, but didn't have time to get it fixed. Then he needed to pee, so he rushed to the backyard and did it. I was shocked. I blew up, saying he peed on my plants. But he said he wasn't paying attention to where he was peeing, because he really needed to go. I unloaded on him, and said I put money, time, effort, to take care of my plants, and now they smelled like pee, and are probably damaged. He lashed back, saying it was not a huge deal for me to blow up like that, and accused me of wanting him sick from holding it in, rather than getting my precious plants wet. I felt disgusted. I couldn't even come near them. He left in the evening to see his dad and get him involved in the argument. His dad told me to let it go, and that I really overreacted, because the plants were okay. But I really felt the disrespect with what he did.
Wow, that's pretty gross. Not gonna lie. Like, what kind of grown man settles disputes not with words, but by peeing on things? That sounds like something a 6-year-old would do, haha. Even his excuses of, I just had to go, and, I couldn't hold it in, sound much more like the words of a scolded child, than those of a mature adult. And when he couldn't get her to move on, he literally ran to his daddy for help. Wild. I don't know much about what's going on in this relationship, because I only have access to the information that the post provides. But it doesn't sound like a healthy or mutually supportive partnership to me. I mean, anyone who refuses to let their partner have hobbies, and wants them to devote all of their time to work and household chores, sounds pretty miserable to be around, and responding to the other party's failure to comply in this regard, by exacting petty revenge of the kind described here, is even more of a red flag. Because let's be real, the toilet wasn't clogged, and even if it was, he could have found literally anywhere else to point his hose. He was clearly trying to send a message about just how little he cared for her or her interests. And as juvenile as his method of delivery for this message may have been, the message itself is nothing short of cruel. I imagine that the husband's dad is right in saying that the pee won't cause any harm to the plants, because ultimately, it's just pee, it's not toxic ooze or something, haha. But what matters here isn't really the consequences of the act so much as its intent. And it seems pretty obvious that the husband was acting with malice when he relieved himself over her treasured plants. So yeah, the husband is the asshole, and so is his dad for supporting him. And as far as I'm concerned, they each owe a pretty big apology for doing what they did, as well as for minimizing her perfectly valid feelings of hurt in the aftermath. The next post is by user Confidence Cold 3141, and it is titled, Am I the Asshole for Using a High, Effeminate Voice to Compliment a Girl when her mom was stressing her out?
Throwaway. Nobody knows my Reddit, but this is embarrassing either way. I'm 18 male, and I was with my girlfriend Grace, 18 female. She told me she wanted to go look for some clothes for summer. So I said I'd take her to Marshall's and stuff, and we'd get lunch. I was browsing the guy stuff, and I didn't really find too much I liked, because everything was just gym clothes. So I went by the dressing rooms, because Grace was inside trying on outfits. I could hear this older woman kinda being really mean to this girl, who I was guessing was my sister's age, like 12 or 13. The woman was saying stuff like, that outfit is too slutty, and that doesn't fit, get off your ass, instead sitting in front of your phone all day, it could fit, and then a bunch of stuff like that. I felt really bad for the girl, especially when they came out and her face was all cloudy, and she looked like she was gonna cry. I don't know why I did what I did next. I popped my hip out, and kind of yelled, "Girl, where did you get that top from? You are a hole, look," and I did some weird shit with my hand, and went, "Ugh, I wish I had hair like that. Slay baby girl." I don't know, it was just the first thing I could think of to say. The girl kind of giggled, and did that thing girls do where they're kind of embarrassed, but really proud at the same time. The mom had this, "Who the frick?" look on her face. Then I saw behind them Grace had come out too, and she was standing there with her mouth hanging open, and she was mouthing, "What the frick?" at me, with big eyes. I just grabbed like a bottle of skincare, I don't know, and speed walked out of there. Grace came after me and was like, "What were you doing?" I tried to explain to her. What the mom was saying to that girl was mean, and Grace said she heard them too, and she was shocked. I said something, but then she said that putting on that voice, and saying those things, was kind of fricked up, and it felt wrong to her. I tried to tell her that I think I did it because I didn't want the mom to think I was a creep, trying to be weird at her daughter, but she just said it was weird, and to not do it again. She isn't like mad at me or anything, but I am kind of curious if am I the asshole or not for doing the voice.
Wow, that was a unique one, wasn't it? OP sure does sound like a character, haha. Intervening in other people's family drama in public is always a tricky area for me. Because on the one hand, it's not really your business as an outsider, but on the other, if someone is being treated horribly like the girl in this post, and you can see or hear what's going on, it just doesn't feel right to stand by and do nothing. When considering this conflict, I think that OP actually did a really good job of intervening in the situation, because he was able to counter the awful things that the mother was saying to her daughter, and make the daughter feel better about herself. But because he didn't directly call the mother out, he avoided an outright confrontation that might have gone badly for everyone. There might be varying schools of thought on this, but I don't think that he did anything wrong by imitating stereotypically gay mannerisms. Because he wasn't doing this to insult or demean gay people. He was doing it because he didn't want his compliments to be misconstrued as something sleazy. If any gay people disagree with me, and do take offense to it, I can appreciate that. I'm certainly not going to tell anyone how to feel. And I understand why some people might be sensitive to that kind of imitation. But considering OP's good intentions, and the challenging scenario he had found himself in, not to mention the positive effect it seems to have had on the girl, I would personally be inclined to give him a break on this one. So yeah, if you ask me, OP is cool. OP's girlfriend might be overreacting a bit, and the girl's mother is the only real asshole to be found here. The last post I'm going to look at today is by user Throwaway T345665, and it is titled, Am I the Asshole for Wanting to Tell My Husband about the camera that his daughter put in his office?
I, female 36, have been with my husband for 3 years. He has a 17-year-old daughter with his ex-wife, Judy. Judy isn't friendly at all. and we don't interact much. By the way, she used to live in the house I live in currently, and many times she has tried to dictate how it's run. My husband gave her multiple warnings after she managed to damage some of our belongings, and then got completely banned after she accidentally started a fire in the kitchen. My stepdaughter used to live with us, but after her mom got banned, she moved in with her and only visits on the weekends. My stepdaughter started throwing accusations at me, blaming me for getting her mom banned from her old home, but she knows what her mom did. Our relationship has been on bad terms since then, but we're still cordial, at least. Last night, I spotted a camera while cleaning my husband's office and asked my stepdaughter about it. She got defensive and told me to leave it alone. I asked if she had anything to do with it and demanded she tell me, but she denied, till I said I'd tell my husband. She freaked out, saying she had nothing to do with it, except put it there per her mom's request. I was flabbergasted and couldn't believe what she said. She begged me not to tell my husband and promised she'll just remove it. But I felt like this is big, too big to hide from him, and he needed to know. She started crying, saying that her dad will punish her, and then might call the police on her mom and cause permanent damage. I told her to go to her room, but she still begged and promised she won't do it again. Tension took over the house, and my stepdaughter has gone silent, to the point where my husband noticed and asked what was wrong. He is now pushing for me to talk, but I feel conflicted.
God, this is creepy. So she damaged her ex's belongings, set his kitchen on fire, and now she's got her daughter setting up cameras to monitor him without his knowledge. That's seriously deranged, like genuine crazy stalker behavior. Frankly, I can't believe that OP is even considering not telling her husband about what's going on. I mean, not only is it a massive invasion of his privacy, but it's also coming from someone who has demonstrated a real potential for dangerous behavior. Anything short of calling the police would be wildly irresponsible, as far as I'm concerned. The fact that the daughter has been roped into the situation and manipulated into doing her mother's twisted bidding is definitely unfortunate, and this may well cause some friction if OP decides to take action. But the important thing to keep in mind is that this is completely the mother's fault, because it was her that got her daughter involved in the first place. And furthermore, letting the daughter off and allowing her to keep her father in the dark is not going to do her any good in the long run, because it will reinforce to her that such behavior is acceptable, which it most certainly is not, and that there are no consequences for doing the wrong thing, which there most certainly are. Perhaps most importantly, keeping the truth about his ex from OP's husband is a massive breach of his trust, both on OP's part and on his daughter's. And if he ends up finding out about it later on, he is no doubt going to feel very betrayed, which will undoubtedly cause great damage to these relationships. So for the sake of everyone involved, it would be much better to get everything out in the open now, than to allow things to slide and see what happens later. Because with the ex's escalating crazy behavior, and her willingness to involve her daughter in her schemes, I don't see things going anywhere good without some pretty robust intervention, sooner rather than later. Yeah, the ex is the biggest asshole, obviously, but her daughter is also an asshole for going along with it. Because 17 is old enough that she should know better. And OP is an asshole too, if she doesn't tell her husband about it, because he's the real victim in all of this. And he doesn't deserve to be kept in the dark like he has been up to this point. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed reading these posts with me, and hearing what I had to say about them. What do you think? Is it okay to pee on your spouse's plants? Can straight guys adopt a stereotypically gay voice and mannerisms, if it's for a good cause? Is it acceptable to put a secret camera in your ex's office? Let me know in the comments. Also let me know who you thought the assholes were in all of these situations. I will be interested to hear your opinions. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll sneak into your garden in the dead of night and take a whiz over all of your favorite plants. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.